Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another CNN weekly recap. I don't think it's really weekly. This is sort of it's not even a mid-season break. This is a patch break that we've had. We've had 2 weeks off from the Overwatch League to give time to the teams to get accustomed to all the changes that have come in Season 6. So if you've been living under a rock, Season 6 introduced a ton of new stuff into Overwatch, which has been awesome. They added the Overwatch 2 Invasion Story missions, which myself, Jake, Jaws, and Johnny actually completed on Legendary. I think we're world first. It's not confirmed, but we're almost certain it's world first. We also had Illari and Flashpoint get added into the game. We've been sort of messing around with both of these things a little bit on my stream and just sort of observing what people think. So we'll talk about those things in just a moment. But overall, we've had a lot of fun stuff coming into Overwatch 2. We went on to Steam and then went on to get review bombed like crazy on Steam. But honestly, this has been a great season overall. Tons of content coming in. I believe Hero Mastery is still in 10 days, 11 days coming out, and that'll be fun to try out as well. So a lot of great content coming here. We'll have the mid-season patch coming as well at some point. So let us keep things going, and we'll move over to Illari, and we'll talk specifically about Illari as a whole. She's newest support hero coming in. High damage output hero who's going to be just like absolutely pumping damage. She has the healing turret that actually just recently got nerfed in a sort of like cycling patch. 2 weeks after just sort of some retuning and some rebalancing on Illari, they nerfed her pylon and a little bit of things to do with her ultimate. But overall, Illari should still be a solid pick, and we will see her be played in the Overwatch League as far as we're expecting. Right now, with the metas of what we've been sort of hearing in the rumblings and what we've been seeing is that Illari Baptiste alongside Orisa, who Orisa is also very strong right now in the meta with some of the patch notes that came through. She's almost unkillable at this point. That's a lot of what we expect. We've seen that in contenders. We expect to see it from some teams in the Overwatch League as well. I expect some extra hero diversity to come through depending on the map, but overall, that's kind of the meta that we're expecting to see in the Overwatch League. So another news that have been coming through, the MVP polls have announced and everybody has flooded through with their opinions. Everyone's trying to debate and argue who do we really truly believe deserves to be the MVP. The top 10 candidates came out. It was Fearless, Fielder, Lip, Merit, Shoes, Skewed, Someone, Stalker, Violet, and Zest. These are important rules that sort of explain some of these nominations. You can only have 3 players from any one team. So a lot of people were saying Chio got snubbed from the Atlanta Reign, but they kind of like, well, who do you take out of the MVP running from Atlanta then? Lip, Stalker, Fielder. They've all been great. I don't think Chio would have won the MVP race anyway, but there are some people who are upset for Chio that he wasn't even on this list while another main support in Violet was, when I think everyone can agree Violet's been great this year, but Chio has been the best main support in the world. There's been a lot of debate about these MVP nominations and who everyone is going to vote for. First of all, you can go vote for yourself. overwatchleague.com/ENUS/MVP, or just go over to the Overwatch League website. You'll find your way there. There's going to be a fan vote. You can vote too for 25% of the overall tally of votes, and then the other 75% are going to be coming from a combination of Overwatch League teams, broadcast talent, and media. It's how it's been done in the past. Sort of makes it so it's not as much of just a popularity vote, and hopefully the best people can be chosen. So far in the past, there has been the discussion of like who deserves to be MVP. I'll speak to my own MVP that I'm planning on getting. I'm planning on choosing Lip. I think Lip has been integral to the success of the Atlanta Reign throughout this season. And with voting closing in about, I think it's like 10 days or something like that, we're not going to see enough of the new meta or the playoffs meta to really change my mind. So unless something crazy happens in the next 10 days, I expect myself to vote for Lip. His Sombra has been so strong, best in the world, and it has led to Atlanta Reign's overall success. The other front runner that I think a lot of people are sort of trying to sort of rally for and really get behind is Someone from the Florida Mayhem. Absolutely phenomenal tank player whose flexibility in the role has really enabled Florida Mayhem to reach heights that not a lot of people were expecting them to get to. So someone, absolutely another person who could deserve it. You can vote for him. I think you can't really go wrong if you vote for Lip or someone. I think they both have their own merits. Obviously, it comes down to how you categorize what is MVP to you. And there is not any like black or white rules or anything like that, which really determines what is right and what is wrong. Just vote however you want. I think some other honorable mentions for me would probably be Stalker from the Atlanta Reign. I think his Tracer has been absolutely stunning, and his numbers have just been out of this world. I also have a big fan. I think Fielder's been great as the flex support, probably the best flex support. But you start asking the question of how much of their dominance is attributed to just the dominance of the overall team. So then you obviously have great players like Shu. Skewed was great in the Eastern region as well. Fearless has been doing great things on the Winston for the Houston Outlaws. But as I said, vote how your heart is content. I think all 10 of these players are deserving in some way to a nomination. So that's the MVP. That's what I'm going to do. You do whatever you want. Make sure to get your vote in the next, when does it say? September 3rd. Voting will close at September 3rd, so make sure to get your vote in before then so you can have your voice heard. We also have the Overwatch League coming back tomorrow. I'm going to release this video quite late in the day, but this is going to be the Overwatch League coming back in the Eastern region. We have the knockouts starting. This is the knockouts to see who is going to qualify to be the top 3 teams that are ending up going to the playoffs in Toronto. We have a lot of the contenders teams that are playing through the early stages, but even Overwatch League teams like the Guangzhou Charge, Shanghai Dragons are going to be playing in some of the opening stages. So lots of games happening in the overnight. Make sure to check these out. There will be some elimination games coming up real soon, so keep an eye out for that. In the West, we have regular season games, the last 2 games that every team must play to end the regular season. So we're still in the group stages, or well, not group stages, I guess regular season for the West. We have some banger matches, London Spitfire versus Valiant. Then we have, there was another great one in here as well on the Sunday, Boston Uprising versus Florida Mayhem. So there are going to be great matches playing on the new patch, including with the nerfed Illari. So this will be an indicator of what we're going to see in the playoffs. It definitely won't be exactly what we'll see in the playoffs, but we'll get a vibe check of who is good and who is bad coming out of this patch, because one thing is for sure that Sombra has really been nerfed so hard that everyone is saying Sombra's out of the meta. And with Orisa taking such a stance in the meta of just becoming so buffed and unkillable, Winston has fallen out in his own right as well. So lots to look forward to. Make sure to check it out this Saturday and Sunday. Lots of teams are playing for lots of different things for these last 2 weekends of games. We have the top 3 not perfectly locked in just yet. Boston Uprising still trying to break into this spot. Then the bottom 3, Gladiators fighting for their life to not even just make it into the play-ins. It would be crazy to see Gladiators not make it to the play-ins, but there is this great graphic that Bad Patchy Mari made, which I don't have on hand, but it really goes to show how difficult it is going to be for the Gladiators to qualify. Easiest way is to just 2-0 both of their matches and then hope for some other things to come their way. So we'll see. Keep an eye out. Vegas, yeah, maybe get a win. Maybe in a new meta, they'll be able to pop off. It's hard to really know, but we'll see. Lots of seeding things to happen as we move towards play-ins and playoffs. So with that said, let's just get into the Pickems. There's not a whole lot that needed to be sort of recapped. There haven't really been any moves with rosters because we're so late in the season. Not a whole lot has happened. It's really just anticipation for this patch. So let's get my Pickems done for this upcoming weekend. London Spitfire versus the Los Angeles Valiant. And this is an interesting one because London Spitfire have had a late resurgence at the end of the last patch cycle that we were in, playing a lot of Reinhardt. People didn't have great answers or great counters to it. But now the Los Angeles Valiant, anything's possible. Hit scan meta, Seeker can play Sojourn. Maybe in any new meta, anything's possible of who's going to go up and down. If London Spitfire can't effectively play a Rush or even the Reinhardt, are they going to be able to stand up to the teams like the Valiant or even play to the level that they were before we had this new patch? Keep an eye out. I'm gonna go for the London Spitfire. I think the Valiant have yet to really prove that they can heavily pop off, but I think it's going to be close. And this is really dependent on London Spitfire, not even just playing their own meta, just playing this patch with the same level of confidence that we saw from them in the past. So Maybe London Spitfire could fall, and this could lead, if they go 0-2 in their next 2 matches, they could fall below the LA Gladiators. So we'll see. Houston Outlaws versus the Las Vegas Eternal. Houston Outlaws are expected to be really good. If you can play Illari Baptiste, that's so good for Shu and Violet. They have great players to be able to play any of their different roles as well. I think they'll be able to play bits and pieces of Winston. I expect Fearless to play at least a competent Orisa. It's unlikely that this is going to be the match that the Vegas Eternal are going to get their first win. Then we have Atlanta Reign versus Washington Justice. Atlanta Reign, I don't expect to be as dominant in this meta, but they're still going to be just as good. I think they're still going to be a top 3 team, and I'd be surprised if Washington Justice could take them the distance, but I'll give Washington Justice a map. The LA Gladiators versus New York Excelsior. Oh, man. And we did this one on Plat Chat, and this is kind of like the London Spitfire consideration that I was talking about, where how much are the Gladiators boomed? Are they so boomed that regardless of going into a patch, which they theoretically should be good at, are they going to be able to play to the level that they need to? There's just been disjointed. It doesn't look like they're on the same page. It looks like they're not, working well as a team. Has a 2-week break really helped them sort of iron out some of those issues? Or are they just going to continue to flounder and just sort of give up on the season? I don't believe that the Gladiators are going to be able to turn this one around. I think they're probably mentally boomed out the wazoo, and I don't think this meta is great for them. If they can play Lastro Babel or like something like that, that's great, but I don't know what their roster even looks like, and that's why I don't feel like in good conscience I can vote for the Gladiators, because I don't even know what roster they're going to pull out. So I think Gladiators are going to lose it in map 5. As like the one final fuck you send off to the Gladiators. I think it's going to hurt. And I think that'll really spell the end of the Gladiators. I think New York Excelsior are looking good as well. I think they're looking good. Then the big way, Boston Uprising versus the Florida Mayhem. This could go either way. I'm actually going to predict Boston here. And I actually got an angry message from Goomba this morning getting upset that I predicted Boston over Florida on Plat Chat. But I'm going to double down. Because I think Boston are going to be really good in this meta. I think it's a double flex support meta. They can play Twilight and they can play Izayaki. I regardless of which tank is going to play the Orisa, I don't think Orisa is going to be that difficult to play. But then they also have Birdring Decay if we end up in double hit scan or they need to play these kind of heroes. Like, I think that really feeds into the way Boston Uprising will want to play, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them one-tricking that comp in a lot of respects. Florida Mayhem, I expect them to continue to show some level of diversity. Like they'll play whatever they think is good on any map in that situation. And that might be how they get over Boston Uprising if they sort of throw a curveball that Boston just don't know how to deal with it. But it's so difficult predicting these teams going into any new meta. Toronto Defiant versus Vancouver Titans. For the exact reason I like Boston, I think this is a really good meta for Toronto Defiant. They can play Ultraviolet Surmaged on the double mechanic support. I think Kaluj will be good at Orisa, and then they have Spectra and Hydron to be able to play the hit scans. Like, I think this is going to be a really good meta for Toronto Defiant, so I'm going for them 3-1. Then San Francisco Shock over Vegas. Dude, Shock have been playing Orisa before it was even good. They have to be good now that Orisa's meta. They still have Proper. They're going to have a solid backline. They have, they have Proby as well coming in. They have good flex supports. I think Vegas Eternal are going to be fine. Shock are going to be fine. I'll give Vegas Eternal a map, but I just don't see Vegas Eternal turning this around. I'm not believing in Vegas, chat. I'm sorry. I can't do it. It'd be super funny if Shock lost to Vegas, though. This would be really, really funny. Those are my Wests. Let's look at the East. We have a bunch of different brackets going through. I'm going to do we have to submit them all? I hope not. Pokerface Gaming versus Panthera. I don't even fucking know. I think Dreamers is going to get over Rhodes. I think it's going to be a 3-0. I'm going to go 3-1 Pokerface. I think Dallas Fuel are going to be good in this meta. I'm going to go 3-0 on Pokerface Gaming. Dreamers versus Hongzhou Spark. Hongzhou Spark should be fine over Dreamers. Maybe if Dreamers play like some Orisa Rush shit and it really catches Hongzhou Spark off guard, maybe. But you just have to assume that Hongzhou Spark can just out-mechanic Dreamers. But never say never. I think Dallas Fuel are going to be better than Spark in this meta. I think Dallas can potentially be good. This feels like a late Dallas Fuel confidence sweep. Hopefully this is their kind of meta to play. We'll see. Hopefully. Maybe that's just copium right now for me. Dreamers get over Panthera 3-1. Pokerface Gamers over Rhodes. And then Dreamers beat Pokerface 3-1. Then Hongzhou Spark is going to beat Dreamers again. I'll go 3-1 Andy again. And I'm going to go Dallas Fuel making it out of the group. 3-2. I expect Spark to try and fail to play Winston as well. Guangzhou Charge versus O2 Blast. Bro, how off the goop do you think Guangzhou Charge is now? Like, I don't know. O2 Blast are in a terrible spot. But, worth noting, one of O2 Blast's biggest issues is that they didn't really have a good Winston player. They didn't want to play Winston. But I don't think you need to play Winston anymore. So it's like, is that as big of a problem? Like, I think there's a chance that O2 are in a good spot. It's also a hit scan meta. Like, they wanted to play, like, these, like, Diva hit scan comps, and I think you actually can play that now. So, I'm going to go Hongzhou Spark for now. And I think Soul Inferno is going to sweep. I think Shanghai Dragons 3-0 Simpressa Gaming. Then Seoul Dynasty beats Shanghai 3-1. Soul Inferno beats Seoul Dynasty 3-2, because I think it's going to be close for no goddamn reason. O2 Blast versus Shanghai. I think Shanghai will win. We'll go 3-1. Guangzhou Charge over SPG. Shanghai's going to beat Guangzhou. I actually think Guangzhou might beat Shanghai. I'm going to give them maybe I'm underrating Guangzhou Charge. I think Guangzhou Charge will lose to Seoul Dynasty though, 3-1. Expecting Prophet Illari? Maybe. Do they have another DPS who can replace Prophet though? How many players do they have? What's up, Rack Attack? Alright, Soul Infernal sweeps though. 3-1 the next time. And that's going to be my 2 brackets for now. Wait, why can't I save these predictions? Hello? Oh, 5 best of 7. All right, let's get 4-2 and 4-2. I'll do double 4-2. I acknowledge. I accept. Submit predictions. All right, guys. And that is my Pickems for this upcoming set of weekends for stuff. Everything going on with the knockouts in the East and the regular season. It's going to be awesome to have Overwatch League coming back. There's going to be a lot of great games to be happening. We got a new meta. Don't have to watch Sombra anymore. Praise the sun. Appreciate it so much. Oh, I guess it makes even more sense with Illari. Hopefully we get some banger matches. Hopefully the meta is fun to watch. Thank you very much for watching. I know it's been a break, but we're getting towards the playoffs. We're about a month out from the playoffs now. Maybe a little bit more. It's good to be back. I love you all. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.